The scent of disinfectant lingered faintly in the empty hallway as James Porter mopped the floor of the Naval Museum. The rhythmic swish of the mop was the only sound at that late hour, long after the day's visitors had left. The lights were dimmed to conserve energy, leaving only the glow of the hallway bulbs reflecting off the polished tiles. James, a single dad and a quiet man in his late 30s, moved with a precision that hinted at a past life: steady hands, controlled breathing, deliberate motions. He'd been working as a maintenance custodian for almost a year now, keeping his head down, earning enough to take care of his daughter Lily. To everyone else, he was just the janitor. Few noticed the sharp eyes beneath his calm demeanor or the way he instinctively scanned exits wherever he went. Tomorrow was the Navy SEAL Veterans Gala, one of the most prestigious annual gatherings in Norfolk. Admirals, retired officers, and elite operatives would attend. James had been assigned to help set up the grand hall, cleaning tables, checking lights, ensuring the stage was ready. He didn't mind. It was honest work. But part of him, the part buried deep under years of loss, duty, and memories he didn't talk about, tightened at the thought of all those uniforms. The next morning, the museum's banquet room buzzed with activity. Blue and gold banners hung proudly. Tables gleamed under the chandeliers. James, wearing his gray janitor's uniform, was adjusting a stack of chairs near the back when a group of officers entered. Their medals shone like sunlight. Leading them was a woman whose presence commanded instant respect, Admiral Sarah Kane, a legend among SEALs. She was known for her sharp wit and sharper leadership. Stories about her circulated across bases and bars: how she'd led covert rescues, commanded black ops teams, and once survived being stranded for 72 hours behind enemy lines. Her entourage noticed James. "Hey, careful with those chairs, buddy," one of the younger officers said, grinning smugly. "We wouldn't want you scratching the Admiral's stage." James just nodded politely. "Yes, sir, I'll be careful." Admiral Kane glanced at him briefly, then turned to her aide. "Make sure the press seats are aligned. We'll have the veterans introduced by their former units." As she spoke, her eyes flicked back to James, who was now methodically taping down a loose cable. Something about his quiet precision caught her attention. He moved like someone who'd done more than janitorial work. "Excuse me," she said suddenly. "You've been here all morning, haven't you?" James looked up, caught slightly off guard. "Yes, ma'am. Just making sure everything's ready." Her lips curved into a faint smirk. "You seem comfortable around uniforms. You serve once." The question was casual, maybe teasing. The officers around her chuckled, sensing an easy joke at the janitor's expense. James's gaze held steady. "Yes, ma'am. Long time ago." "Oh really?" one of the lieutenants said. "What were you, Army cook? Supply?" A few more laughs followed, light-hearted but condescending. Admiral Kane tilted her head. "What branch?" "Navy," James replied quietly. That got her attention. "Navy, huh?" She crossed her arms. "You have a call sign, sailor." James hesitated. The air seemed to thicken around him. The room grew quieter, the laughter dying as his calm voice replied, "Yes, ma'am." "Oh, really?" she pressed with a half-smile. "And what was it?" He looked her straight in the eye. "Viper 1. The moment froze. The smile faded from her face instantly. The other officers glanced between them, confused. The name hit her like a shockwave. For a long moment, Admiral Kane didn't speak. Her throat tightened, her breath caught, and her hand slowly dropped. From her hip, "Viper 1, she whispered, as if repeating it to make sure she'd heard correctly. James nodded once. "That's what they used to call me." She stared at him, eyes wide. "That's impossible." The younger officers looked puzzled. "Admiral, what's wrong?" She ignored them. Her voice trembled slightly as she asked, "Task Force Shadow, Operation Black Reef, were you there?" James's eyes softened, and for the first time, there was a flicker of something deep behind them: pain, memory, brotherhood. "Yeah, I was there." Admiral Kane took a slow step forward. Her mind raced back to that fateful mission over a decade ago, a classified extraction gone wrong. A SEAL unit had been surrounded, communications lost. Reinforcements couldn't get in. Only one ghost call sign had broken through enemy jamming that night: Viper 1. He'd saved her life. She remembered the gunfire, the chaos, the whispered voice over the comms. Stay low, move east. I've got your 6. Viper 1 was killed in action, she said softly, almost to herself. James gave a faint, tired smile. That's what they told everyone. Paperwork got messy after the crash. I didn't correct it. The entire room had gone silent. The young officers shifted awkwardly, unsure what to do. Admiral Kane just stared at him. You're telling me you're that Viper 1? The pilot who pulled 6 SEALs out under heavy fire. He nodded once, humbly. Wasn't just me. Had a team. Your team didn't make it, she said quietly. No, he replied, voice cracking. They didn't. The silence between them was heavy, sacred. She saw it now. The way he stood, his controlled posture, the haunted steadiness in his eyes. The janitor uniform meant nothing. Underneath it was one of the most decorated, mysterious combat aviators she'd ever heard of. She straightened, regaining her composure. Why didn't you come back? Why disappear? He sighed. After the war, my wife passed. My little girl needed someone stable. I didn't want her growing up with a father chasing ghosts. So, I just stopped being Viper 1. Admiral Kane's eyes glistened, and became a janitor. Just a dad, he corrected gently. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then she exhaled, the tension breaking into a faint, emotional laugh. You have no idea how many times we toasted your name. How many missions we dedicated to your memory. James looked down. Guess I should have sent a postcard. The younger officers were in stunned silence now. The same lieutenant who'd mocked him earlier stepped forward awkwardly. Sir, Mr. Porter, sir, James waved him off kindly. It's all right. You didn't know. But Admiral Kane wasn't done. No, she said firmly. It's not all right. She turned to her officers. You all think you know what honor looks like. You wear your uniforms, you polish your medals, but this man, this janitor you mocked, is the reason any of us came home from that mission. He's a hero. The officers stood straighter, embarrassed but deeply moved. Kane stepped closer to James. You saved my life, Viper 1. I owe you everything. He smiled faintly. You don't owe me anything, Admiral. You already paid that debt by serving. Just then, a small voice interrupted from the doorway. Daddy. Everyone turned. A little girl, no more than 8, stood there holding a lunchbox. Her blonde curls bounced as she ran in. You forgot your lunch again. James knelt, smiling warmly. Thanks, sweetheart. Admiral Kane's hardened expression melted instantly at the sight. This is your daughter. Yeah, James said proudly. Lily. Lily looked up at the Admiral with curiosity. Are you Daddy's boss? Kane chuckled. Something like that. Daddy said he used to fly airplanes, Lily said. Is that true? The Admiral crouched to Lily's level. Not just any airplanes. Your dad was the best pilot I ever knew. Lily's eyes widened. Really? Really? Kane said softly. He saved a lot of lives. James looked away, humbled. The Admiral stood and turned to her officers. Change of plans for tonight's ceremony. Add one more name to the honors list. Lieutenant Commander James Porter, call sign Viper 1. James shook his head quickly. No, Admiral, please. She held up a hand. That's an order. That evening, the Grand Hall filled with the sound of applause. Veterans, officers, and civilians all rose to their feet as Admiral Kane took the podium. Tonight, she began, we honor those who served and sacrificed. Some names we remember, some we thought we'd lost, and some quietly carried their duty long after the battlefield. She gestured to the side of the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the bravest souls I've ever known, Viper 1. The spotlight found James standing near the edge, frozen in disbelief. The applause grew thunderous. He walked slowly to the stage, his daughter holding his hand. As he stood beside the Admiral, tears welled in his eyes. For years, he'd tried to bury that part of himself, to be just a father, just a man doing his job. But in that moment, surrounded by those he once called brothers and sisters, he realized he hadn't lost his purpose. He'd just found a new one. Admiral Kane handed him a small medal, a simple one, not ceremonial, but personal. We kept this for you, she said softly. Never thought I'd get to give it in person. He accepted it silently, his voice barely above a whisper. Thank you, Admiral. She leaned closer. No, thank you, Viper 1. As the crowd stood in ovation, James looked down at Lily, who beamed with pride. "Daddy," she whispered, "are you a hero?" He smiled gently. "No, sweetheart, I'm just your dad." But in Admiral Kane's eyes, and in the hearts of everyone in that room, he was much more than that. That night, as he walked out of the museum under the stars, James felt something lift. A burden, a ghost, a silence that had followed him for years. He wasn't just cleaning floors anymore. He was standing on them, finally, fully seen for who he truly was. Viper 1, the man who came home to be a father, and in doing so, became a hero all over again.